Hello students, in today's class we will be doing chapter 1, that is about computer hardware components. Okay, so it is basically a theoretical chapter and in which you may find the what all is there inside the computer very interesting. Okay, so basically you will be learning about the internal and the external parts of the computer. Okay, maybe today we will be only be looking at the internal parts of the computer today. Okay, and I will be showing you the ICL session of your textbook. Okay, so interactive computer based learning is there. So listen to it carefully. In between I'll be giving you my inputs too. Okay, so I'll be playing you that video and explaining it to you in between. So pay attention. This is the textbook contents you will be able to get it. Okay, from here. Okay, so this is the chapter 1 of your class.
Hello students, today we will learn about the computer and its hardware components. Computers are machines that perform specific tasks according to a set of instructions or programs. Earlier, computers were used mostly by scientists and engineers for complex calculations, and they were very costly too. Nowadays, computers are within the reach of every working person. It has virtually become a need in every sphere of life. Let us first start with the anatomy of computer. A computer comprises of two major components, hardware and software.
Okay, so I'm sure you know about both these terms, the hardware and the software. Okay, so hardware is any component which you can see and touch, including, that doesn't mean that what is there inside the CPU, because you cannot see it directly, that is not a hardware. Even that is a hardware. Okay, so the computer would comprise of hardware as well as software. Hardware is the physical parts and software are the programs which will make the computer work. Okay, so let us look into this a little bit more closely.
Hardware. The physical components of a computer which we can touch and feel are known as hardware. Hardware can be further categorized into internal and external hardware. Software. Software is a set of programs which controls the internal operations of a computer and instructs a computer about the work to be done. For example, Unix, MS Word, etc. Software can be classified into two main categories, system software and application.
Okay, now the two categories of software are system software and application software. System software is the software which is very essential for the working of the hardware. Okay, so as soon as you start the computer, as soon as you put on the power, so immediately the control goes to a program which is going to load the operating system into the memory. The operating system is also a software, system software. Okay, and then the control is in the hands of the operating system, and any commands that you will give, they will all be taken up by the system software. Application software is all the software which you have learned so far. Okay, like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, etc. So all those are basically application software. Now application software does a specific task. Okay, it is programmed only to do that, like Word will only create documents, Excel will only create a spreadsheet for you, etc. A video player will only play a video for you, a browser software will only display web pages for you. Okay, so application software and system software, you need to know the difference.
Software. Hardware and software are interdependent of each other's functioning. Without these two components, a computer cannot work. For example, without the driver of a hardware and OS kernel, a program which directly interacts with the hardware, we cannot use hardware. Similarly, without the processor and a memory, it is impossible for a software to run. Do you know Vinod Dham is popularly known as the father of Pentium for his contribution in the development of the Pentium processor from Intel? Let us talk about the internal hardware. The hardware components that are installed within the CPU cabinet are called internal hardware. For example, CPU, RAM, ROM, disk drives, hard disk drives, Blu-ray disk drives, CD drives, DVD drives, motherboard, network card, sound card, video card, etc. Motherboard. A motherboard is the main.
I'm sure all these were all the internal parts of the computer. Now, some of you may not have seen these parts unless and until maybe your PC is getting repaired or something. Okay, so right now they showed you all these parts, and we'll be looking at each part in more detail. Okay, so let us look at the different parts.
Main circuit board of a computer that holds the most essential components of the computer system.
So basically the main circuit board of the computer is the hardware. Okay.
The base of a motherboard consists of a rigid plastic sheet. The board is the mother of all the components. That is where it gets its name. It serves as a single platform to connect all the parts of a computer together and allow them to communicate with each other. A motherboard is mounted inside the CPU cabinet and connects CPU memory, hard drives, optical drives, video card, sound card and other expansion cards directly or via cables. The motherboard works like a bus terminal, that is,
so basically on the motherboard all the other parts will be mounted on the motherboard. Okay.
Junction of all the devices. As all the buses originate from and end up in the terminal, similarly all the activities related to the connected devices start and end up in the motherboard. A motherboard mainly contains the processor chip,
now this
BIOS,
is the processor
memory
chip is the main chip of the motherboard. Okay. So the Intel chip, which you must have seen the advertisement and all. So this is the processor chip, which is the main component of the motherboard. Okay. Then you have something called BIOS.
chips, external storage controllers for video display and sound, expansion slots for connecting additional circuit boards. PCI, peripheral component interconnect. PCI serves as a connection between a computer's motherboard and any connected hardware.
So you see these slots over here. These are the PCI, the peripheral component interconnect. Okay, so this is the place where additional cards or any cards you will be connecting it, like your hardware devices also you will be connecting it here in the PCIs. Okay, in these slots.
Hardware. The PCI transmits data and power between a computer and the device. PCI was introduced by Intel in 1992. Sound card. A sound card is a hardware component that is fixed either in an expansion slot or on the motherboard. It controls the input and output of the sound signals, that is, it receives and sends audio signals to and from the computer. A sound card converts the digital data to sound and vice versa. It enables the computer to reproduce sound or play music through output devices like speakers, headphones, and record audio with a microphone. Separate PCI sound cards are used to get higher quality sound. Video card. The video card is an expansion card that is used to generate the video output to a display screen, such as a monitor, TV, or projector.
The video card is also known as a graphics card, and these cards you may like there are different types of cards, and these cards are quite expensive. Okay, so sometimes you may need to use very high quality graphics, some software which requires a lot of high quality graphics. So in such cases it is better to install the graphics card into your PC. Okay, so this is about the video
It is
card.
also known as graphics card. Video card is used to enhance the quality of the displayed images. This card contains its own processing and memory unit and is connected to the motherboard via X.
So sometimes, like you may be having a 3D game or something, or some software which requires a lot of graphics. So if you don't install the graphics card in your PC, then that software will run very slow, because the type of memory it requires is not available for it. So graphics card has its own memory unit inside the card itself, which makes it run flawlessly and quite fast. Okay, so sometimes in certain software it is necessary to install the graphics card.
Accelerated Graphics Port AGP or PCI Peripheral Component Interconnect Connection. Students know the fact a video card can handle two types of video images. First, it can be used to display a two-dimensional 2D image like a Windows desktop or a three-dimensional 3D image like a computer game. CPU. CPU is the main unit of a computer. It is alternately referred to as microprocessor. It controls all the instructions it receives from hardware, internal and external devices, and software running on a computer. The CPU is a small piece of a silicon chip placed into the CPU socket on the motherboard. It is usually in the shape of a square or rectangle, which contains millions of transistors that perform a wide variety of functions.
So
the speed of CPU is determined.
In your primary, you must have, when we were doing theory of computers, that time you have always, learnt it like CPU is the brain of the computer. So this chip is the main part of the computer, the CPU, Central Processing Unit. This is the place where all the arithmetic and logical calculations take place.
Determined by the number of instructions it executes per second, which is measured in megahertz, MHz. There are mainly three components of CPU. Number 1, memory unit, MU. It is the principal storage of the computer. It stores both data and instructions when entered. Number 2, arithmetic and logical unit, ALU. This unit performs the arithmetic and logical operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Number 3, control unit, CU. It controls the operation of every other component of a computer system. This unit also controls the transfer of data and instructions among other units of computer. RAM. Random access memory is a type of memory that is available for the operating system programs and processes to use when computer is running. It can be accessed randomly at any time. Whatever information we enter in the computer goes into RAM and remains there until the machine is working.
So because the information is going to remain till the machine is working, that memory is also known as volatile memory. Volatile memory means temporary. The moment the machine is switched off, the RAM, whatever is stored in the RAM gets erased. Okay, so this is temporary memory over here. Okay, now
it is a volatile memory and therefore data and instructions are stored here temporarily. When you switch off your computer or there is some power failure, the data is completely erased. RAM is of two types, static RAM and dynamic RAM. For example, RAM is like a blackboard that is constantly overwritten with new data. The commonly used calculator is another example of RAM. Students know the fact. Buses are the wires used by the CPU to communicate with RAM and other components in the computer. Almost all CPUs have at least a data bus used to read and write data and an address bus used to output addresses.
So even though the name bus is used, Basically they are just wires along which the data is traveling. Okay, so it is known as a data bus because they on those wires the data is traveling. Okay, but it is basically a wire.
ROM stands for read-only memory. It is a type of memory from which we can only read information but cannot write on it. It is a non-volatile memory, therefore, the information is stored permanently in it, even when the system is powered off. Data stored in ROM can neither be modified nor erased easily. A ROM stores the instructions required to start a computer. There are three types of ROM: PROM, EPROM, and EPROM. For example,
even though ROM read-only memory is permanent memory, we cannot write into the ROM chip. Okay, so we can only read from it. So that is why it is known as read-only memory. So the instructions are usually written on the ROM are the ones given by the manufacturer to start the computer. Okay, so this is ROM, the second type of memory.
ROM is like an audio-video disc. Once the songs are burnt on a CD, the disc contents cannot be changed. ROM chips are not only used in the computer but also used in microwave oven and washing machine. Disk drive. A disk drive is a hardware component in a computer that enables users to read, write, delete and modify data on a storage disk.
So when we
it
are,
is either a built-in
dealing with when we save our files, okay? So it
hardware
is
component in a computer that enables.
So this is a picture of a hard disk here. This is where the data is saved. When we are saving our files, this is the place where that C drive, D drive it shows now. This is the place where the data is being saved, and it is known as the disk drive.
Enables users to read, write, delete and modify data on a storage disk. It is either a built-in or external component of a disk that manages the input or output I/O operations of a disk. Disk drives are of several types such as hard disk drive, CD drive, DVD drive, etc.
So I'm sure you must have used CD drives also now, though nowadays people prefer using flash drives or the pen drive compared to CD drives. Okay, because it is more first of all it is portable, it can contain more information compared to a CD drive. Okay, and you don't have to invest in an additional drive to store data. So people prefer using pen drives now.
Commonly used disk drive is a hard disk drive. SMPS. SMPS stands for Switched Mode Power Supply. It is essential for safe running of power-consuming electrical and electronic appliances. SMPS uses a switching regulator to control and stabilize the output voltage by switching the load current on or off. It transfers electric power from a source AC mains to low voltage direct current DC.
So basically the current which the electric power which we usually have is very high for the parts of the computer inside the computer, internal parts of the computer. So it has to be regularized into low voltage. Okay, and then it is supplied to the computer. So the SMPS does this work.
It always applies a well-regulated power to the motherboard and other parts of a computer and saves power. It has a built-in fan to release the excessive heat during the time computer is in use. Modem. Modem stands for modulator demodulator. It is a device which allows a computer to send or receive information through telephone lines by converting digital data into an analog signal. Modulator converts digital information of a computer to analog mode at the transmitting end, and demodulator further converts back the analog signals to digital at the receiving end. Modems can be classified as...
When we had done internet, that time we had learned that to use the internet you need the modem. Okay, so this is the work of the modem, that it converts modulator and demodulator is there. It converts the digital signals into analog signals and analog signals back to digital signals.
As internal modem. It is a device that is already installed in the computer. It is in the form of a card that is inserted into one of the slots on the main board. External modem. It is a modem that is installed outside the CPU. It is in the form of a box that is normally connected to USB port of a computer. This type of modem has indicator lights that display. The speed of a modem is measured in BPS and kbps, kilobits per second. Although a modem can have a maximum speed of 56 kbps, but if the telephone line quality is not good, it will not be able to work with its maximum speed. PC card modem is specifically designed for laptops and handheld computers. It is similar to the size of a credit card and fits into the PC card slot on notebook and handheld computers.
So you can have this kind of a modem on the go, like you can carry it with you and have internet with you.
So no cable is required other than the telephone line connection. One can remove this modem when it is not needed. Except for its size, PC card modem is like the combination of external and internal modems. This card is powered by a computer. Heat sink. A heat sink is an electronic device which is designed to disperse the heat generated by the CPU. It is made up of metal such as a copper or aluminium alloy and normally uses a fan to keep the processor cool. Heat sink is commonly used in all CPUs. It is also used in refrigeration and air conditioning systems, GPUs, graphic processing system, and video card processors. Ports. A computer port is a slot on the motherboard that acts as a point of connection between a computer and an external device.
So I'm sure you must have all seen on the back side of your computer, you can see that there are slots over there in which you can connect your hardware over there. Okay, so these are known as ports.
Cables of external devices like keyboard, mouse, printer, monitor, etc. are plugged into these ports to attach them to a computer. There are several types of ports which are used to connect various external devices to the computer.
Now you can see over here, these are all different types of ports. The names given over here, PS2 mouse, keyboard, this is used to connect the mouse, this would be used to connect the keyboard. This is to connect the USB, that is a flash drive you can connect, or sometimes even the mouse. Nowadays you don't have these kind of connection ports over there. You get mouse in which you have a USB mouse is there. You can connect it using a USB port. Okay, then you have these kind of connections for connecting your printer or the monitor, etc. So these are all the ports are the places where you will be connecting your hardware devices onto the computer. Okay, and these all are the different types of ports required. So sound port is there, network ports are there. Okay.
Computer. Most of the ports are visible at the back side of the CPU cabinet, while a few are placed in front. The placement of these ports may vary from computer to computer. Some of these ports are color-coded that identify a specific device to be plugged in them. Ports, serial port, picture, explanation. It transmits data 1 bit at a time over a single wire.
So basically
Usage.
Earlier, this is a serial port over here. So it transfers data only a single bit at a time. So here, sometimes the mouse also comes, mouse or a keyboard has a connection which is connected using a serial port like this.
It is used for devices that do not require high-speed transmission, that is, mouse, keyboard. It is also used to connect modems, hence called as communication ports. It transfers several bits of data together at one time. Parallel port. Usage. It is used for devices that require high-speed data transmission, such as printers.
Now for a printer you need a lot of data traveling together, not single. It has to be the transmission of the data has to be quick, so a parallel port would be used for it.
Also used to connect scanners, printers, CD writer, external hard disk drive, etc. Universal Serial Bus USB port. It is used to transfer data and can also act as power supply for devices connected to it. Usage. Devices that can be connected to a USB port include keyboard, mouse, printers, scanners, flash drives, phones, tablets, digital and web cameras, etc. PS/2 port. PS/2 connector was developed by IBM in 1987. PS/2 port is now considered a legacy port as it has been replaced by the USB port. Usage. It was used for attaching keyboard and mouse to a computer.
See, you can see this. Earlier mouse was having a like this, so it needed this PS2 port wire, but now, and even for keyboards you would find like this, but nowadays it is replaced with a USB port.
Firewire, also known as IEEE 1394. It was developed by Apple Inc. in 1994. It can transfer large amount of data with speed up to 800 Mbps and can connect up to 63 different devices. Usage. It is used to connect camcorders and video equipment to the computer. VGA, Video Graphics Array. It is similar to a serial port connector, but the serial port has pins, whereas VGA connector has holes. With the increase in use of digital video, VGA ports are gradually being replaced by HDMI and display ports. Usage. It is used to connect monitors or projectors to a computer. HDMI, High Definition Multimedia Interface Port. It is a digital connector that can carry high-definition video and audio. It also can send audio to different formats. Usage. It is used to connect high-definition and ultra-high-definition devices like computer monitors, HD TVs, gaming consoles, high-definition cameras, etc. to a computer. Ethernet port. An Ethernet RJ45 connector looks like a telephone line. RJ11 connector. Usage. It is used to connect your computer to a wired network. Audio. Line in. It enables a user to connect an external audio device to the computer. Line out. It allows external speakers, headphones or other output devices to be connected to the computer. Mic port. It helps in plugging microphone into the computer. Now let us talk about external hardware.
Okay, now up till now what we saw was the internal hardware, right? We will be doing the external hardware in the next class. Now in internal hardware you have come across a lot of new words, and you may be finding it okay, but if you do two three readings of this much part and you watch the video 2-3 times, I'm sure you will get to know these parts very well, and knowing them is very important because whenever you go to buy a computer, or when your computer is not working properly, and you need to know exactly like where the problem could be. So if you have a little idea about what is there inside your computer and what work they perform, so you are able to understand the computer better. Plus, even when you go to buy a computer, you can understand what all, whether you need something or not. Usually the configuration which is there is quite suitable for you. Like as I told you, the graphics card is very expensive and you may not need it at all because you may be not using that kind of software. So you need not install it. So suppose a vendor is trying to talk you into buying the graphics card, you need not, if you don't use it, you need not say yes to it. Okay. So a little idea about the internal parts is necessary. So you need to read this chapter quite thoroughly, and 2-3 times, because it is a little theoretical and a little new to you, the words and all. So I want you to read and watch this video very well demonstrated video is there. That is the reason why I didn't make the PPT for this. I am using the video directly of the textbook, and it is the same as the textbook. So even the reading will help you when you will read. Okay, so we will stop here for today.